Dear Maddie, it's been almost a week since your death. I'm sitting here at the table, drinking my coffee and thinking of you. When I close my eyes, I can still see your sweet face. I still see your pain, your suffering. I avoid answering the phone. It doesn't ring much, and no one ever leaves a message. Not that it matters. I don't want to talk to anyone else. Just you. You understand. You'll never be able to read the letters I'm writing, but that doesn't stop me. In jotting down these words, I feel closer to you. It's as though you're still here. One day someone might find my spiral-bound notebook full of letters. Who knows? Some Hollywood hotshot might make them into a blockbuster movie, or a famous author might write our story. You love books. Wouldn't that be something? But for now, it's just us. The last of the neighbors, the Morgans, left for their winter home in Florida yesterday. It's cold here. First snow probably isn't too far away. It always hits the mountains first, and it'll be beautiful. Of course, bad weather makes the roads difficult to navigate, and most of the local restaurants and shops will undoubtedly close for the winter. Anyway, I'm sure the Morgans are gone because I was sitting in the living room just staring out the window and saw them drive past. John drove the Infiniti and Sue had the Lexus. Both SUVs had cargo carriers on top. They didn't stop to say goodbye, but then the Morgans always kept to themselves. We're a lot like them, you and I. So that's it. Everyone has left for their winter homes. Now it's just you and me here until spring. Well, just me. Just me. Dear Maddie, another week has gone by. I'm sorry I haven't written. Lately I spend a lot of time walking the halls and just going from room to room. Your toothbrush sits untouched in the bathroom. Your scent lingers on the clothes in the closet. The cigarette smoke, too. You should have quit. Everything as though you never died. It's as though you might walk through the door at any moment, but you can't. Regardless of what anyone might think, I'm not delusional. Did I mention I still see your face? I do, Maddie. I do. Sometimes I shut my eyes so I can't remember you. Dear Maddie, I walked through the woods behind the house again. I've always liked the woods. Gives a man a chance to clear his mind. I think I've been in the house too long. I swore I saw you walk into the kitchen yesterday, but when I followed, the room was empty. Anyway, about the walk in the woods. Since you can't go hiking, I'll share the 3-mile expedition with you. All the trees, except for the last of the pine oaks, are barren, and the ground is cold and hard underneath the leaves. You love taking photos out here, but trust me, the sky has been gray for days, hardly picture-worthy. Most of the birds have flown south except the darn ravens. There were plenty of them, cawing and flitting from tree to tree. I don't think I'll walk in the woods anymore. It feels too open, like I'm not alone. I know there's no one around, unless it's a deer or wild turkeys or those noisy ravens. But I need my space. I need more time to let your death sink in. I'm going into town for groceries and supplies this week. Since I'll stay the winter, I should prepare for bad weather. I'll get some powdered milk and other things in case the power goes out. I'll probably drive into Knoxville, although it's about an hour and a half from here. I'll write you tomorrow, I promise. Until then. Dear Maddie, I spent more than I intended yesterday, but it had to be done. Knoxville is pretty big, and not everyone wants to talk your full head off. People are funny. Even if I shared a friendly conversation with one, I doubt they'd remember me if we met again. We could pass on the street a day or a week later, and they'd never remembered me at all. That's okay. I'm still not up for polite conversation, although I did say a few words to the chatty grocery store clerk. I didn't want to appear rude. People always recall the negatives, but never the positives. Society. Who needs it? Anyway, I digress. It started to snow yesterday. Started right about the time I came up the driveway. Not the big wet flakes that stick, but the tiny ones that are more like fine soot. There's a dusting on the back deck, and some deer ventured onto the back lawn. I'm far from the photographer you were, but I took a couple pictures for you anyway. The weatherman is calling for the heavy stuff starting tomorrow, especially here in the Smokies. Guess I got those supplies just in time. There's no telling when the road will be safe enough to travel again. Could be a day or weeks. You know how the weather is up here. Christmas is right around the corner. I tried to get into the festive mood by drinking some hot chocolate I found tucked in the back of the pantry. I made 2 cups. I drank them both in front of the fireplace and pretended you were sitting next to me. Dear Maddie, we had several inches of snow, so I've been watching TV a lot and staying indoors. Right now I'm working on a bottle of rum you bought the week before you died. There's nothing on except holiday specials. It beats watching the news. The news is so depressing. Everyone calls the shows holiday specials. Whatever. The characters in them celebrate Christmas, so why not advertise them that way? Better yet, why advertise them as shows at all? Seems to me that a 2-hour special is nothing more than a 45-minute show with an hour and 15 minutes worth of jewelry, clothes, and stupid cologne commercials. Like I said, though, it beats watching the news. The world has gone mad. Stark, raving crazy, if you ask me. Lots and lots of wicked, messed up crazies. We both agree on that one, don't we, Maddie? Yes, ma'am, I hear you out loud and clear, and we'll toast you on that sentiment, sweetheart. Every time the news is on, there's nothing to report but war, robberies, apartment fires, and lost jobs. I'll tell you the truth, Maddie, I don't regret staying up here until spring. Human interaction probably isn't a good idea right now, given my state of mind anyway. Besides, I'm not alone, am I? I have you to talk to. I think about you so much that a few minutes ago, I thought I heard you yelling from the other room. You weren't there, of course. I searched the whole house. The mind plays tricks now and then. I tell myself, it's just quiet up here. Or the rum. Good stuff, Maddie. It's good stuff. See how much I think of you? You may be gone, but you'll never be forgotten. Not as long as I live and breathe. Never. Dear Maddie, it's Christmas Day. There aren't any presents under the tree. For that matter, there isn't even a tree. I found the decorations in the attic, but decided the effort was too much. I did go through the containers, though, all 6 of them. You love Christmas. Outside, it's what you'd call picture perfect. The snow is pristine and majestic. There's so much snow that I swear I can hear the quiet. Pretty eerie though, right? Sometimes it's easy to imagine I'm the only one left in the world up here. The bad news is we're completely snowed in and the power has blinked on and off a few times. Thankfully, the electricity is holding as I write this. So far, I haven't needed to use the generator. I'm glad I got the powdered milk and the canned goods, although I can't say powdered milk on cereal tastes as good as it does with fresh milk. Beggars can't be choosers, though, right? It's hard to believe you've been gone and buried almost a month. Where did the time go? You'd think I'd stop writing you. I can't. I just can't. I see you everywhere. I hear your voice, too. Dear Maddie, we had more snow and the power went out for a couple of days. You wouldn't have liked it, being afraid of the dark as you are. Most of the gas cans for the generator were empty. To conserve what fuel I did find, I shut off the fridge. I closed up all the rooms and threw more firewood from the basement into the fireplace. I made up the sofa as a bed and piled on the linens. The first night I put all the perishables from the fridge into the coolers, packed with snow, kept them in the garage. The daytime high hasn't reached above 26, according to the temperature gauge on the deck. I don't know what the temp dropped down to the other night, but everything, including any melting snow, was frozen solid the next morning. I apologize for the incident in the basement. I was cold and tired and cranky when I went to fetch more firewood, and I threw some of it at you. You vanished before any of it hit you. There, I said it. I see your ghost. It's crazy, right? Maybe something's wrong with me. I won't go to a doctor. Haven't been to one in years. I'm afraid of what the reports would say. Anyway, I can't get out the back or front door because I haven't shoveled. Not even once. I can't bring myself to touch all that sparkling snow. Good thing I don't need to go anywhere. Now I can almost hear what you're thinking about my situation. I thought about that myself. Oh, I almost forgot. Bears. I saw one yesterday at the back of the property. I guess bears don't usually hibernate this far south. It's not like Colorado or Oregon. I'm glad I didn't put the coolers outside to stay cold. I can see it now. A bear eats all the food, and I'm not able to get out to get fresh supplies. I'd starve to death. Can you imagine? I bet you could. That wouldn't be my biggest problem, though. What if the power stayed out and the generator ran out of fuel? There's not enough firewood to last a month, much less until the snow recedes. Not to mention the house would be sealed up tight, like one big tomb, with all that snow piled up around the doors. Fortunately for me, the basement door under the wraparound deck worked just fine. Dear Maddie, for New Year's Eve dinner, I heated up a can of ravioli using the sterno cooking fuel I bought up in Knoxville. Yeah, the power went out again. I hear you. Everyone on this side of the mountain vacates during the winter just for this reason. I get it. The snow and ice makes the roads treacherous, and right now I imagine they're impassable. Since I'm the only one up here and no one else knows that, the snowplows won't come, though. It's just you and me. Dear Maddie, Happy New Year. I spent most of the day thinking about your death. I'm fully aware we haven't talked about that. It's not that I'm trying to gloss it over whenever I find you sitting in your chair and staring out the window. Your death was painful. I understand. Honest. There hasn't been a day that goes by I don't think about it. I'm not ready yet. Don't make me feel guilty for not discussing it. Just stop. Stop it right now. Do you hear me, Maddie? Just stop. P.S. The power's finally back on. Dear Maddie, I miss you. I spent the past 2 months here with very little occupying my time or my mind. In hindsight, I agree with you. Staying was a mistake. It's been far too many days since I laid eyes on another human being. Oddly, the days don't seem to matter much anymore. I can't tell you if today is Sunday or Wednesday. Does my sanity or lack thereof make you smile? I can almost see you now. That's not true, is it? I wish I could see you. You're here, but you don't show yourself as much as you used to. I'm sorry I drank all the rum, and I'm sorry I yelled in my last letter. I repaired the broken door frame in the master bedroom. I even repaired the dripping faucet down the hall. The walls needed some touch-up, but I couldn't find matching paint in the basement. I paid the bills, though. I read a lot these days. I even finished the mystery novel you were reading before you died. For the record, the wife faked her own murder, then went back and killed her husband. She framed his mistress. How about that? Did you see that twist coming? I sure didn't. I don't normally read mystery novels, so I can't say how this book stacks up against some of the bestsellers. Still, I enjoyed the mystery, and after lunch I plan on going back to the basement, seeing what else I can find on that bookshelf. Of course, the weather's still crappy. It's bitterly cold. I'm down to just a few supplies, so I'll need to venture out again soon. I broke down and shoveled the driveway. It took me 2 days because the top of the snow froze over. Ever notices how the snow isn't nearly as pretty once it freezes over? It's got this plastic hue to it. I'd shovel for a little while, then I'd come inside and warm up, then I'd go back out again. Thankfully, it hasn't snowed in a while. That'll be short-lived, though. The weatherman says we'll get more snow by the weekend. I think I need to get out of the house. It's been far too long. I hope the roads are clear enough for me to make the trip down to Knoxville. Dear Maddie, I made it into town yesterday. I enjoyed being around people again. I still didn't talk much, though. Just got in, bought the necessities, got out. I save all my conversations for you. I admit the road to town was pretty bad. In fact, it was touch and go there for a while. The twists and turns going down the mountain scared me. Once I even slid off the road, but I got lucky and got stuck in the snow on the shoulder. Better than going off the cliff. Took me better part of an hour to get unstuck and back on the road. I couldn't shake the fear of sliding off the road and careening down the mountain. If I didn't know better, I'd swear you put the thought there, Maddie. Are you trying to keep me from leaving the house? Do you want me to be trapped? The idea bothers me so much that I spent hours thinking about it, and I've come to a logical conclusion. We've both been isolated too long and suffer from a touch of cabin fever. It's all this snow, just this snow and nothing more. I know you could never hurt me, Maddie. Dear Maddie, I've been negligent in my writing. According to the notebook, it's been nearly 3 weeks since I wrote you last. I think it's finally time to let go and say goodbye. So this is it, the last time I write you. The 10-day forecast calls for more snow next week, so now's as good a time as any to pack up and go. I'd planned on being here right up until before some of the neighbors came back, but I'm getting a little antsy. You're angry, I can tell. If you'd had your way, I'd never leave here. I still haven't talked about your death. How can there be any closure without talking about something so important in detail? I'm finally ready. I visited your gravesite this morning. Even with some of the melt-off, it took me a while to get out there. I was nearly frozen solid by the time I got back. Had to take a long hot shower and drink the last of the hot cocoa just to warm up. But it was worth it. I think it's safe to say no one will find you. I don't even know how long before someone notices you're missing. You didn't get a chance to become nearly as acquainted with me as I with you. You had no idea how long I'd been watching you. I told you I liked the woods. It's easy to hide out there. I watched all of you and your neighbors. I went through your mailboxes and got names. Then I sought out each of you out on social media. I found out a lot about your comings and your goings. I knew when any of you were at dinner or a movie and wouldn't be home. I learned your likes, dislikes, and even your phobias. Funny how people share so much over the internet with total strangers. You never talked to your neighbors, so you probably never knew that the Fitzgeralds always head west to California, or that the Burtons go up to stay with the son in Austin. Bet you didn't know the Morgans have a condo in Orlando either. I met each of you too, not at the same time, of course. I'd sit at a nearby table at a restaurant, make small talk, stand behind you in the line at the store. I first talked to you at the liquor store when you bought that bottle of spiced rum. You never even realized I'd followed you. Of course, I say we talked, but that's not true. I think you said 2 words to me. I was always pleasant, though, always. Remember I said people remember the bad things and never the good? So why did I choose you when Jenny Fitzgerald was younger and a lot hotter? Let's face it, you're average at best. It would have been easy to abduct Jenny. She's trusting, outgoing. But there's the matter of a husband. He'd report her missing, and that just wouldn't do. That'd be sloppy work on my part. That left you, and you lived alone. When I broke into your neighbors' homes, I didn't stay long. I touched nothing, but when I let myself into your house, I touched lots of things. You didn't even notice someone had showered in your bathroom, or even had some of your orange juice. I'm careful. Now, you might say that I'm not careful, that I've left fingerprints. The thing is, it doesn't mean much if they're not in the system, and mine aren't. But even if my prints existed in some database, real life isn't like those novels you read. If the leads are few and there isn't a second murder, the files are stuffed into a box or folder and basically forgotten. And without a body, well, it's really just a missing persons report. I went through your things, and although you have nieces and nephews, you never had any children. You didn't own any pets. No cat to hide under the bed and tip you off. No dog to bark or walk so the neighbors would notice a difference in your routine. You liked photography. You took stunning photos, Maddie. You also liked reading, and you had a thing for chocolate. You drank too much now and then, but kept it a secret. You wrote down your passwords on a piece of paper that you kept in the desk drawer. That's how I was able to pay the bills. No one has called for you since Christmas. I deleted the 3 messages on your answering machine. You were a loner mostly. You thought of yourself as outgoing, but in reality, you weren't. There's no indication of foul play, at least not anymore. I repaired the door frame, remember? I staked out your house and made a note of what lights you turned on and when. Since you never talked to your neighbors, they didn't pay any attention. They probably saw the lights on and thought you were in the house when it was me all along. I found timers in the basement and scheduled lights to turn on and off at your usual times. Like I said, I've been watching you for some time. No one knew I dug a 10-foot hole in the woods over the summer. Sweated my butt off working on that pit. I even covered the opening with plywood. When October came, I was ready. I'd been thinking about you for so long. I know you were scared when I kidnapped you and made you walk through the woods and climb down into the pit. You begged me, pleaded, but your neighbors never ventured into the woods. They never heard your cries for help. They didn't hear your cries of pain. I knew they wouldn't. I loved talking to you, Maddie, and I loved spending time with you too. Then I'd return to your house, sleep in your bed, eat your food, drink your OJ right from the container like I did that day when I took the quick shower. Does the idea gross you out after what you've been through? At night I'd slip out and go to the woods to spend more time with you. I could never make you smile or laugh, but I could make you scream. I liked it when you screamed, Maddie. I liked it until I didn't. I still see your face. I still see the tears in your eyes, your bruised cheek. From the way your face swelled, I broke your cheekbone. I didn't mean to. Guess I just got all excited and caught up in the moment. I listened to you plead for your life before I carved you up and watched you bleed out on the dirt floor. You weren't my first, Maddie, but you were my last. See, it's nothing like the books or television. People disappear all the time and no one notices. Even when they do, it's not easy to track down a killer who covers his tracks. A killer like me. I don't stick to a type, not even sex. I don't stick to a particular age either. I guessed you were around 50. You weren't the oldest, and I won't tell you about the youngest. Cute thing of 18, though. The point is, sticking to a type leaves a trail, Maddie. It makes investigators take notice. Everyone looks for a pattern. The trick is to not have one. I mean, why bother with a type at all? Variety is, after all, the spice of life. I didn't lie when I said you'd gotten to me in a way no one else had. For a while I actually thought your ghost would succeed in seeking revenge. Tell me the truth, Maddie. You wanted me to freeze to death, unable to open a single door while your car sat parked right outside. Or would you have preferred your car tumble headfirst down the mountain with me screaming inside? If you'd had your way, justice would have been served. I'd probably lie dead in the wreckage for months, possibly years before someone found me. How much of my flesh would have remained after all those stupid ravens pecked away at my corpse day after day? Pop quiz, Maddie. Would they start with my eyes or the open wounds? They'd start with the eyes. It's always the eyes, in case you were curious. Don't think I'm unaware of the irony here. Now it's just you here, Maddie. Just you. I'm the only one who can see you. Didn't think I knew that either, did you? Don't ever forget that I took your life. Your spirit belongs to me. Oh, P.S. Correction about you being my last. You'll be the last in this notebook. It's pretty full. When I'm a few hours down the road, I'll stop and buy another one. Like I said, it's time for a fresh start. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to it. Been a long time since I had human interaction. Where am I headed? After all this snow? Florida sounds nice.